Rúben Amorim has spoken for the first time since the announcement that he will be the new head coach of Manchester United. His first words obviously came in the press conference after last night's victory in the Portuguese League, his Sporting side winning 5-1 against Estrela Amadora. And obviously it was his first opportunity to obviously explain the reason why he took the job and obviously the reason why he was leaving Sporting, especially at this time of the season when they've been doing really well. So look, we're going to get into the quotes and let's see what he had to say. So he starts off with, "I can't say much. It's a phase where people feel what they have to feel. I wanted to explain the situation. At the beginning of the season, and the chairman is there to confirm it, I had a conversation with him and Viana, and I said that whatever happened, it was my last season of Sporting." So I think obviously that shows that he felt he was ready to make that next step. And obviously it depended on what clubs were going to come in from at the meantime. Because obviously, look, there was talk that City were interested in him taking over from Pep Guardiola if he was to leave. Now, nothing was confirmed about whether Pep is leaving yet. And obviously, there was other teams he was linked with in the past. So he's definitely a manager in demand. So, and he obviously knew that as well, and he obviously felt he was ready to take that next step. So, the season started, and we started to have a very good season. United came along, paid the clause, above the clause, and the chairman defended his interests. I never discussed anything with the chairman. The only request I made was that it would be at the end of the season, and they told me that wasn't possible, that it was now or never. I had 3 days to decide on something that would completely change my life. So obviously, United came in and moved fairly quick. And listen, by the sounds of it, they literally gave him an ultimatum and said, "Look, we want you to be our manager." And obviously, look, I think United were probably aware that he was going to be reluctant to leave, especially given the start that Sporting had. But they literally just gave him the choice. They said, "Look, if you don't take this opportunity now, the opportunity won't be there." And it looks like he wanted to stay until the end of the season at Sporting, but United told him, "Nope, now or never," basically. And as he said, he had 3 days. They obviously gave him the 3 days to decide, and as he put it, something that would completely change his life. And obviously, look, I think making the step from Sporting Lisbon to Manchester United, which is it's the biggest club in the world. To make that step, look, obviously, for him to make that decision, decide to come to United, one, it shows the type of character he is, that he believes he's good enough and he's ready to make that step now. And I mean, he's definitely had a fairly decent season at Sporting, and he's had a decent career at Sporting. Let's be honest, he's had to win a couple of league titles there, and then, of course, he won their first title in 19 years. So yeah, look, I mean, it's a good appointment, I think, in terms of United. And it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, look, we know now that he's going to be starting on the 11th of November, which is the first day of the international break. So he'll have best part of 2 weeks with the majority of the players before his first game on the 24th of November, which is away to Ipswich. So yeah, it's interesting. But look, anyway, in terms of the quotes, he goes on to say, "It's very hard for me to leave, more for me than for any other Sporting fan. There was no confusion at all. We have to safeguard everyone's interests. Far from playing the victim, I had to, in this dead zone. The only person who is here is me. I said I would stay for as many games as necessary. I didn't say anything earlier because I couldn't. That's how the decision is. The club appeared that I knew that if I rejected it, I wouldn't have it in 6 months, and I knew that in 6 months I would not. I would know that I wouldn't be at Sporting, the only club that I wanted, and that moved me. It got to a point where I had to decide, and I did. Now I'm going home much more relaxed. I would earn 3 times more with the last club that paid my clause. I gave everything I had for the club. And look, I mean, you can't argue with that. I mean, he has. Look, he's won a hell of a lot at Sporting in such a short time. He's been pretty decent. And look, I mean, obviously all eyes now are going to be on him over the next few weeks to see how Sporting do, and I think there's definitely an opportunity. I mean, even the game last night, I'd say there was probably more eyes on that game than there has been in any game over the last 10 or so years. Um, just people trying to get an idea of he how he sets up his teams and how his teams play. So, look, I mean, time will tell if he will still bring that system to United. Obviously, look, if that's the system that he likes to play, he will definitely. I think he will definitely try and implement it. Whether the players that he has at United now will be able to play that style, and will take all the instructions on board, is yet to be seen. And obviously, look, there's. I think it's not in this quote here, but I think he said it in a different. Might have been the same press conference. I'm not 100% sure, but he said that he wouldn't go after any Sporting players in January. And look, I mean, United tend not to do too much business in January anyway, so I wouldn't be overly concerned about that. I mean, next summer is probably when the majority of the business is going to be done. It will be interesting to see if he does go for any of the players at Sporting to bring him over. I know that's one thing Ten Hag was criticised for, but I mean, if you're trying to implement a system, if you can get players in that know that system and can play it, and definitely help the other players at your new club, you're definitely going to do it. And look, it worked for Ten Hag in his first season. We finished third and we won a cup. So it's definitely something that I think he will probably consider. So look, yeah, I think overall it's a positive sign, and it's good to see the Ineos moved quick to get their man. By all accounts, I think it looks like United made the decision as soon as they sacked Ten Hag. It looks like they said, right, we're going after Amorim. It it appears that they just went for him. There was from what the club are saying in their statement, it sounds like there was no kind of conversations beforehand. Definitely not with Amorim anyway. Maybe there was with the club, but it's good. Look, they moved quick. They went in, paid the clause, paid slightly above it to reduce his 30 days notice down to effectively 2 weeks. So they halved his notice period, which is good because obviously that 2 week period during the international break is going to be key. It'll definitely give him more time with the players that he ultimately would have if they didn't. And look, he's going to be bringing his backroom staff, his coaching staff as well. He said that he's had them more or less throughout his whole career. So look, that makes sense as well. But I would hope that he keeps Rude around in some capacity. And I know I said it previously, but it would be good if he kept him around for at least till maybe the end of the season and just see, because he's going to need help obviously getting to know the players, and obviously getting to know the club. The more people he has around him at the start will definitely help. Whether he will or not, that's yet to be seen. But look, I mean, it's definitely a positive appointment. Um, and yeah, it's only, well, today is the 2nd of November now, so it's only 9 days away. He starts. He'll get the job underway over the international break, which is, again, it's definitely a positive. So yeah, it's exciting times ahead. Ineos have gotten the man they wanted, um, and now I think there's nowhere to hide now for Ineos because, as we said previously, when they came in over the summer, they changed everything from the top down, except the manager. It looked like they were happy to stick with Ten Hag. They wanted to make it work, but look, ultimately, we didn't get the best start to the season, and the results were poor. They weren't good enough, and they had to make a change. And they've moved swiftly. They've got their man, but this is their man now in charge. So from the top to bottom, they have all their pieces in place. So now it's 100%. This is the 11th of November will be day one of the Ineos era at Manchester United. So it will be interesting to see how things go. And yeah, look, it's exciting times. It's a new club and possibly a new style, new system, new way of playing. It seems to be an exciting style of football, very attacking. Like we've seen last night, their striker scoring 4 goals, and I think he scored like 7 or 8 goals in 2 games. So there's definitely that's definitely something to look forward to. And I think the system could potentially get a lot out of Highland. But yeah, look, I mean, it remains to be seen. Obviously, it's not guaranteed that we're going to see the exact same style of football straight away. It's probably going to take time for the players to get used to the system and the style of play. And will he even play that 3-4-3 or that 3-4-2-1 system? It's yet to be seen. But yeah, look, let me know your thoughts on the appointment of Rúben Amorim. Give us your thoughts in the comments. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll catch you later.